Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much. It is such a pleasure to be here with you guys today. My name is Pauline Pryor. I am a member of Sport Clip's National Artistic Team. And I am having such a great time and honored that you guys would even have me do a haircut for you. I appreciate the opportunity. So this is what I'm gonna do for you guys today. You notice Preston, my model, thank you so much, Preston, for doing this for us, right? But you notice that Preston has very long hair, right? What I am going to do with him today is I'm still gonna keep some of his length, but instead of doing a scissor cut, I'm gonna do an all clipper cut. What I have found with our team members, only time we wanna use clippers is when we're doing short hair. And I like to challenge them and let's utilize those mechanical shears in a different way. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I've done so far, you can see I've already sectioned him out. And the reason why I have so many sections is because when I'm utilizing my clippers, I want to still make sure that I have some control. I'm only going to just mist his hair just a little bit with a little bit of water, just to give him a little bit of moisture. Again, I'm doing this for control purposes. Then I'm also going to use a cutting aid. And you can choose whatever cutting aid that makes more sense to you, but I want to choose something today that has a little bit of hold in it. Again, why? Because I want a little bit of control. So I've sectioned off his top working area into a square right at his crown, and then I sectioned off his sides. Notice here in the back, I have sectioned off the back working area and I've divided it ear to ear. And again, I've done that so I can have some control. My fingers are kind of small, so I can't hold a lot of hair all at one time. So I need to make a few more sections than I would maybe normally make. So I'm gonna start here center back. Now it's important when you're utilizing your clippers, you need to make sure that this is comfortable for you. So what I do is I stick my comb in between my middle finger and my pointer finger, and then I get it nice and comfortable, and then I place my clipper, as you can see right here, just like that. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to section off that hair, get some control of the hair, and then use my clippers. So let's turn them on and get started. So I'm starting here in the back, and we like to call it 6 o'clock at Sport Clips. But we're gonna start in the back. Notice how I'm bringing my holding angle is gonna come straight out from the head. Now, my cutting angle, which is gonna be the angle of my fingers, are gonna be more at a lower 45. And the reason why I'm doing that, you guys, is because I wanna create just a little bit of volume right at his nape. And I'm gonna continue to use that traveling guide, find my guide, making sure that my sections are nice and small, because with that hair being a little bit dry, see my guide right here? With the hair being dry like that, it's a little bit harder to see your guide. So you wanna make sure, just because you're using clippers does not mean that you wanna take larger sections. Now, right now, I'm still bringing this hair straight out towards me. Notice where my body position is. My body position is right behind Evan, Preston, but right behind Preston. And I'm gonna stay here as I cut this entire back working area. There's my guide, lower 45-degree angle of my fingers, and I'm gonna continue to cut. As I approach the round of his head, my body position stays the same, and I still bring that hair straight back to me. Now, you guys, when I was coming up with this concept, we have required training classes that each and every one of our team members have to take, regardless of how long they've been cutting. We want to make sure that everyone meets Sport Clip standards, so we do require them to go through training. We have a haircut that we call square layer that our team members have a tendency not to utilize when they're on the floor. So when I was developing this haircut, I wanted to say, you know what can I do to build on the knowledge that we're already giving our team members, that they will have a practical reason for using this particular haircut on the floor. So what I did is I took the fundamentals that we had, added a different type of tool to it, and then gave them a different way to cut it and or style it. So once I got to behind the ear, notice what I did. I brought that hair again straight back to my to my chest, to my body, because what I want to do is create more of flat layers, and I also want to make sure that he has more of a masculine look, not so rounded, but more square. So I'm just approaching the other side, doing the same thing. So guys, with the training classes that I was telling you about, we have those core classes that everybody has to take. And then we also have classes that are advanced. This particular class is a part of, this particular cut is a part of the Artistic Team Men's Collection. And I was so excited. That was one of the reasons why I really wanted to join the artistic team, because I had a dream of creating my own haircut, and I actually had that opportunity. And it's great to be able to make that level of impact on your team members' lives by teaching them something that you actually created. So like I said, this is an advanced haircutting class. So we develop the Artistic Team Men's Collection every few years. And the reason why we do that is because our tenured team members have already gone through core camp, may have already taken some of our other advanced classes that we offer. And we want to make sure that they have something exciting that they can take that they've not taken before. So even if you've been with Sport Clips for 20 years, you still have an opportunity every couple of years to take something brand new and fresh with us. All right, so we got that lower back working area taken care of. We're just gonna go through, make sure he's good. Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted. And you notice I have a little bit of extra length here on the side. I did that purposely, you guys, right? Because I actually shifted that hair straight back, leaving him a corner so he has that square feel to the hair and not feminine. All right, so we're gonna take down the upper back working area. And again, my sections need to be nice and small because my guide is going to come from underneath. Now, when I section off this hair and start here at the back, I'm not gonna use that lower 45-degree cutting angle any longer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do more of a 90. So my holding angle still comes out straight from his head. Find my guide here at the bottom. Now my fingers are straight up and down, creating more of a flat layer. And then I'm going to cut. Now, I'm not taking a lot off of Evan because, why do I keep calling you Evan, Preston? I'm so sorry, don't be upset with me. So what I'm going to do, the reason why I'm doing this, you guys, is I wanted that volume at his nape area, but now I don't want the volume here in the middle of his head. I want it to be more flat. So if he did want to put a little curl at the bottom, or maybe even have a little bit of a flip up for those short pieces pushing that long hair, he would have that opportunity. Here's my guide at the bottom. Again, my fingers are straight up and down. And then I am cutting. Again, my holding angle is still, that hair is still going to come back to me, making sure that I have nice, square, masculine shape. I think that's one of the things that I used to get confused about. When I first started working at Sport Clips, you guys, I was in full service doing all women's hair. And every time I would get a client in, a gentleman in, and I would cut his hair, he would have long hair, he would come out looking a little bit feminine. And I couldn't understand exactly why. The reason why is because I was making his layers round when I really should have been making them more flat and square. And those are some of the wonderful opportunities that we have at Sport Clips with our training. Our training program that we have is excellent. It's excellent. As much as you want to learn, as much as we have available for you. We have all kind of classes. We have texture classes, multi-texture classes. We have classes that get our team members very familiar with cutting beards, cutting with a feather razor. It's a great opportunity, you guys. I have to be very honest. Most everything that I've learned from the classes that we have at Sport Clips. I also want to say, somebody said, but Pauline, you keep your clipper on the whole entire time. Yes, I do. If you notice, my clipper is far enough away from my comb as I'm combing. My clipper is far enough away, I don't have to worry about accidentally cutting his hair. All right, so I'm going to go back through here and I'm going to cross-check this to make sure. And what I also do, you guys, I encourage my team members to cross-check after every section. That way they're not taking any errors to the next section. One little piece I missed, you guys. And there it goes. So now that back working area is done. So we're gonna move on to the side. We can come to this side first. So I'm gonna grab my guide from the back working area. Notice how my body position has changed, you guys. When I started off doing the back, I was directly in back of him. Now, because I am creating a flat square shape, my body position now changes. So it makes it much easier for me to bring that hair straight out to my chest. So here's the hair that I want to cut. I'm going to get my guide. The hair comes again straight out to my chest. I'm going to find my guide. Now this guide is going to be what we call more of a softer guide. Why? Because it's coming from the back working area, and I've also changed my body position, so it makes it a little bit harder to see. So if you're attempting to do this haircut, that's great. All you want to do is just make sure that the hair that you're cutting section is much smaller than your actual guide. Now, I also want to create some forward movement for him. So when I'm doing that, I'm just gonna shift this hair back one section, just so he can have some forward movement. There's my guy right there, shifting it back just one section. I only wanna shift it back one section. I don't wanna make this dramatically too long here in the front. I just want a little bit of movement. And it also will allow Preston to tuck his hair behind his ear if he wanted to do that, and it won't look crazy as he tucks it. It won't make it, look, the hair in front of his ear won't look as short, because I've actually given him a little extra length by shifting that hair back. Perfect. Perfect. Notice how when we tuck behind the ear and we give him a little extra length, this hair here is not so much shorter and makes it look a lot nicer. When you start doing a haircut, all clipper cut, make sure those clippers are all the way charged, right? The one thing that you don't want to happen is you don't want to get in the middle of the haircut and then your clippers go dead on you. So this is not something that you'll do with every client, right? You have to have the right client that's not going to be scared of you using clippers on long hair. And then you have to have the client with the right density. And you also have to have that client that may not want to do a lot to his hair, but he can put some product in it on sometimes if he chooses to. Shifting his hair back. Notice how I'm shifting it back, you guys? Or if he doesn't feel like putting any product in it, he can put some leave-in conditioner in. He could actually put a little bit of some type of mousse if he wanted to make it a little bit more curly. Just depends upon what type of mood your client is in. And what I love about this is so versatile. This is such a versatile haircut. Here we go. Looking good already. And Preston had told me, I think when I told him I was gonna cut his hair, you guys, he looked at me a little bit crazy, because I was like, the first thing I told him, I was like, I'm not going to take a whole lot off, I promise. Because he made it a point to let me know that he is growing it out. All right, for my top working area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb the hair straight back. And I'm going to notice how his natural fall of his hair is. It automatically just gave me a center part, right? So I'm going to take vertical partings, horizontal, depending upon exactly where you're standing, right? Grabbing my guide from that upper back working area. Again, my holding angle is going to come straight out. My guide is going to be at the bottom. Keeping my fingers nice and flat. And then cutting the hair. I don't know about you guys, but clippers are my favorite tool. One of my favorites. I think my favorite tool will probably be a feather razor. Then after that will be clippers. Love them, love them, love them. So what this is doing for Preston, even though it's for him, it's not going to give him the appearance that I've cut a lot of hair off. But as I noticed as I'm going through it, I am still finding some areas where his hair is not as healthy as it could be. So me cutting some of this off, he'll still have the appearance of length, but then he'll have more healthier ends, and that's going to promote his hair growth. I'm here approaching his apex. What I want to do, again, because I created some forward movement on the sides, I want to create forward movement in the top, so I'm going to shift it back. Just one section. And if you're working with your clients, this is something that you definitely want to be careful of. Some of our clients may be not as full and could have a slight recession in the front. So if that is the case, we may want to shift back and allow for a little bit more room or a little bit more hair, for the hair to be a little longer. Just that little bit of hair that I've cut off, you guys can see it's already brought life back to it. A lot of people will probably say, well, why would I just not use shears or scissors? I can. Only reason why I'm doing this is because, like I told you before, a clipper is my preferred tool. And sometimes I like to show off in front of my clients and let my clients know, hey, I don't always have to do what your standard is. I can do something a little bit different. And when you pull out a new tool for your client that he's not used to having, man, you just gain the client, because he starts to think, he's like, she's the coolest. I've never had a stylist cut my long hair with clippers. I'm shifting back now, you guys, because I want to preserve some of the length in front. And because Evan, if I keep calling you Evan, you're going to have to just hit me next time, Preston. But Preston said I'm not going to hit her while she has that clipper in her hand, though. But he's going to pay me back later, you guys. I'm going to be asking for something in marketing, and I may have to wait just a little longer because for my punishment, huh? What do you think, Preston?
I'm going to be like, who are you talking to?
I know, right? No, you're going to say, ask Evan. I have to just blame it on having a little bit of a senior moment, you guys, a senior moment. And I'm bad with names anyway, but that doesn't make an excuse for it. I have to do better. All right, here we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So what I'm gonna do now, because I pulled the hair out and created those flat layers, when I pull this hair up into a mohawk strip and make some horizontal partings, I'm going to notice that I'm gonna have a part, I mean, not a part, but a point in the center, and that's fine. I'm just gonna cut that off. You can do a mohawk strip, or you can comb the hair on one side, whichever's most comfortable for you, and make horizontal partings that way. Not gonna have a lot to take off, but I do wanna add a little bit of texture. See where that point is? So what I'm gonna do, I don't wanna take it straight across. I wanna add some more texture to it. So I'm just gonna point cut it right in there. Just point cut. Not hurting, it's touching, it's actually touching the clipper, it's touching my fingers. It's not hurting me at all. And if you're working with a client that's hair may be a little fine, you're not gonna wanna dampen it as much. You could really use a type of cutting aid that has more hold to it. Even a hairspray could work, just to bulk the hair up just a little bit and still give you that control that you want. Now, even as I locate the point and add that texture, I'm still gonna shift this hair back, because what I don't wanna do is take away that movement that I've already created. Last section. Great. Now, Preston, when you normally wear your hair, I've always seen you wear it more straight back off your face, right?
Traditionally or up, yeah.
Is there ever occasion where you may bring the hair and just maybe let it hang to the side just a little bit?
Kind of like an emo cut? No, I haven't done that yet.
Well, since if Preston was the type of client that wanted to have a little bit more versatility and possibly wear a little bit more in his face, I would come through and frame his face slightly so when it hung, it wouldn't it would give him, you know, a little bit more of a definition. So what I'm doing, I know that he doesn't wear it that way, but I like to give you options.
Absolutely.
So all I'm doing is just taking a little bit of that off the front just in case you decide I'm gonna try something different. And notice what the detail of what I'm doing, you guys. I'm just pulling it down and I'm just point cutting it with my clippers. Not taking very much off at all. So as I'm doing that, I'm gonna come around to his perimeter, add a little bit of texture. Any little areas that I may see, I'll address those then. But right here in this area, I should have a point, you guys, because remember, here's my point right here. This is where I created that square, making sure that he looks, again, more masculine. Every time I've taught this class, I always get like a wow factor. Because again, my team members, we think clippers, we think short hair. I like to think out the box. And again, like I said in the beginning, I like to challenge my team members. Let them think about some things that they can do differently. Last year, we had a class where we just introduced cutting the top working area with clippers. So that's the reason why I created this cut, is because I wanted to just, instead of just doing the top working area, we do a whole entire haircut. So I'm gonna do a little detail and finish now. Just because he has long hair does not mean that I still shouldn't go back through at his nape and address any areas that may need to be cleaned up. Take a look at this right here, you guys. You guys can see, look how those layers are. Notice how what those clippers did, it automatically created some of that texture that if I were cutting with shears, I would have to go through and point cut it. Nothing wrong with that. There's so many different ways to achieve a hairstyle, right? Me, I just prefer to use my clippers and let the clippers do more work than what I really have to do. And that's not even with any product in it. That's just with a little bit of my, some prep and prime that I use just as a cutting aid. Okay. If you would do me a favor, my dear sir, all I want to do, now I'm not gonna take all of this off. If I take all of this off, if he was wearing a ponytail or something like that, that would be cool. But I like to leave a little bit of this here to promote some more growth. So all I really wanna do is just clean it up just a little bit. Now, there are some clients that are going to come in and they're not going to want that. That's when your consultation is so important. And Preston wears his hair a little bit more natural. I've never seen him where his hair is like strictly like manicured. So I want to make sure that he still has that natural feel in this area. So I just want to clean it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Again, this is when that consultation is so important. If you take it off, your client is going to be upset with you if that is not what he desired. Can you put your head down just a little bit for me? Perfect. Just a little bit in this area. If you notice, you guys, I'm not making a really harsh line. I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. Taking a little bit of that hair off of his neck just to make him a little bit more comfortable. If this was the summertime, that hair on his neck like that could get awfully hot. Just taking off this little bit, it's gonna help. I'm gonna hold my comb here so I can hold that hair up and just take a little bit of that off. This way, if he did decide to do a ponytail, he still has a nice little line at the nape and still has that natural finish that he always likes to achieve. All right, let's gonna work. Next thing I'm gonna work on is his sideburns. Blend them in a little bit into his beard. We also discussed that he's doing No Shave November, right? So what I did with him earlier, I just cleaned him up slightly. Preston is that type of client that does not want to chase a line. So I didn't want to chisel a line in. I just follow his natural contour. I talked a little bit, you guys, about the training that we have at Sport Clips. I could really talk about our training all day long. It is one of the reasons why I am an educator at Sport Clips. It's one of the reasons why I've been at Sport Clips so long. I love a company that will invest in me. Our training is paid. You know, the classes that I have had the opportunity to have with Sport Clips, I would have paid thousands of dollars for. We have some of our vendors also will develop classes for us alongside the artistic team. And the level of education that we have at Sport Clips is it's overwhelming, but it's perfect for those of us who may have just came out of beauty school, or those of us who may have been doing full service and haven't had the opportunity to maybe cut a lot of male clients. We make sure that our team members are comfortable before they hit the floor. So I'm just gonna use a little leave-in conditioner on him today. If I wanted something again with a little bit more, to add a little bit more curl and enhance that natural curl pattern that he has and the wave that he already has, I could use something like a mousse. I could use something like a gel. But when Preston and I were talking about it, he didn't want a lot in his hair. And I've observed him, even though he doesn't realize I've observed his hair, because all hairstylists, we look at hair all the time, right? I've never really seen him with a lot of anything in his hair. And I think that's important. I don't want to give him something that's going to require a lot of styling, a lot of product, if that's something that's going to be uncomfortable for him. And there we have it, you guys. We have more of a square layer cut that I've done with all clippers. I've added some texture to the top, done some point cutting with the clippers. That haircut, you guys, can be executed in a very minimal amount of time, depending upon if you need to have for efficiency purposes. Dare not say we rush through haircuts. That is not what we do, but we also are very respectful of our clients' time and want to make sure that we give them a quality haircut in a minimal amount of time.